Welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, DLC Pack 2 was literally just dropped on me today, right? I guess technically yesterday. I don't know exactly when it was released. I believe it was released sometime last night. And there was no warning. They said holiday season, right? But they didn't give any hints to when exactly it would be. And I'm not going to necessarily talk about it now, because that is definitely 100% post-game stuff. I don't even think I'll start my next Let's Play until I get done with DLC Pack 2. And I will be honest, I have not played through all of it yet. I have barely even scratched the surface. But, from what I've played and from what I've heard, I have quite a few good things to say about it. And a few complaints, which, again, we'll get into at some point. But anyway, last time we finished up the last Divine Beast, and that means that before I take on the final boss, there are just a few more things for me to do. Now, I've decided that the final boss will be in its own video, and Hyrule Castle will be in a video in and of itself, because there's one specific thing I want to do in there that has to pertain with DLC Pack 2, because you know I'm in love with those outfits, and they have one that's it's so sleek, so pristine, and I really actually love it a lot. And with that, I can actually show off a few rooms that are in Hyrule Castle, and I think it's going to be quite fun, quite cool. But before that actually happens, I do need to take care of the last few memories. There are 4 remaining, one of which is actually in Hyrule Castle, so that'll happen a bit sooner than you might have thought. But there are 2 that I'm going to get right now that actually, I might even go for 3 depending on how long this episode is. But, I have them marked on my map. I know where they are, exactly where they are. There's one right there, one down here, one right here, right? Yeah, one right there, and then there's one in Hyrule Castle. So I'm going to be going to this one first, and I'm not necessarily sure if the travel's worth it. And I guess right now I might talk about a bit of what DLC Pack 2 added, just to get it out there. It added, I'm not necessarily sure everything it added, I haven't checked fully. But what I believe it added was a few new costumes, which I won't necessarily get into just yet. I might talk about them at a later date, depending on if I actually do plan on picking them up in the Let's Play or not. I might go over the outfits, which I didn't pick up, because I think there's this one outfit called the Barbarian outfit, which I'm not going to talk about it too much right now, but it's kind of cool, and I do want to actually talk about the effects, so I might actually make a video strictly about all the outfits in Breath of the Wild and the effects that they make. Or maybe, if I'm a bit lazy, just all the outfits that I didn't get and the effects that they have. So, that might happen. But, other than the outfits that it added a new Divine Beast, which I hesitate to call it that. But it's cool, I guess. Worth the hype? No. I think the problem is I got my hopes up. Kind of like the dungeons in this game in the first place. I thought all of it would be a sprawling adventure, you know, like Hyrule Castle, which probably not the smartest idea, because really, could that actually happen? Most likely not. That would take a lot of time and resources, but man can dream. But the problem with this Divine Beast is it's not even really a Divine Beast, and I guess their definition of a Divine Beast was quite light. But enough about the negatives. Here is the first memory I'm actually going to get in this episode. If you check right over here, you'll see that. I believe it's this. I'm going to go through it like this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's just how I've seen it online. So this is memory 6. And it's right here. So let's recall.
one. Oh, and another. The flowers we have in Hyrule aren't just beautiful. They are also quite useful as ingredients for a variety of things. This one here is called the Silent Princess. It's a rare, endangered species. Despite our efforts, we can't get them to grow domestically yet. The princess can only thrive out here, in the wild. All that we can hope is that the species will be strong enough to prosper on its own. Is that what I think it is? Look at this. I don't believe it, but I actually caught one. This delicacy is known to have very, very potent effects under the proper circumstances. Ta-da! Research from the castle shows ingesting one of these can actually augment certain abilities. We wouldn't be in a controlled environment out here, but with your level of physical fitness, you'd be a perfect candidate for the study. Go on. Taste it.
I don't care what anyone says about this story, I freaking love the memories. They're just... After wandering around for such a long time in this just kind of desolate world, and meeting no one, finally being able to... I know it's not interacting, but finally being able to get some form of dialogue, and just, honestly, just experience it, take it in, just sit back and relax for a minute, you know? I think it's nice, and some of the memories are just... They're just freaking cute. Like, there's nothing else I can say about it. I know that sounds gay. I know it sounds exceedingly gay. But there's no other way to put it. I really enjoy the memories. I think the interaction between Link and Zelda is just, oh, mwah, it's just perfect. And I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. Honestly, I might as well talk about what I thought about the game beforehand. Because before this game actually came out, I was on a few other channels, I guess one other channel, and I talked about my opinions on there, but I haven't really talked about them on here, or what I thought was going to be in the game. For the story, I was actually, I was very intrigued as to how it would go, Sorry, I looked away from the mic there for a second, my bad. Let me see, hold on, first of all, which is the goodbye, I'm not going there. The closest one is over here, so, I'm going to teleport, and then I'll be right back with my little story, my thoughts, my opinions, my past beliefs. Oh yeah, and in case you were wondering about what else was in DLC Pack 2, there's horse armor that actually makes it so you can teleport your horse to you, and that, I can never go back, to be honest. But, anyway, enough of that. I thought that the story could be done in a few interesting ways. And, I kind of imagined it being like, and this was very irrational of me, because the world is so large, there's probably minimal, like, interaction between the different races, but, I just imagined that, like, depending on where you went, and what you did first, that might actually affect the story and, how, what happened. Because at that point, we didn't know much about what the story was actually going to be about. What we knew was he was traveling, and that's about it. It wasn't going to be a linear story. So we were just kind of left out in the open, and I assumed that maybe Nintendo went all out, and they made it so that depending on which area you went to, it might actually affect the story. And while I didn't think that the voice cutscenes would necessarily change, well, I thought that those would be most likely constant. I thought that the text might change, and while that isn't necessarily the case, depending on how you actually take on certain tasks, the text actually does change. So I guess in a certain way I got my wish, but I thought that, like, maybe, and this, again, probably irrational, but I thought that maybe some way, somehow, they might, like, make it so that if you do this Divine Beast first, it affects the story in this area in this certain way. But again, that's probably too much to ask for. That'd be a lot of cost for minimal reward. Anyway, over here there's a horse statue, and that's right, there's another memory here. That's, I believe, memory 10. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's 10. This is memory 10. And, if you're wondering why did I skip over this one, well, take a guess. Take a gander. Doesn't look like I'm going to be going there anytime soon. I say that, but I'm going to go there next episode. I guess I'm not necessarily thinking this through. Then again, when do I ever think things through? Let's be honest.
Be sure to take the time to soothe your mount. That's the only way it will know how you truly feel. Your advice was quite helpful, thank you. This little one and I are getting along quite well now. At first, I wasn't sure if I should outfit him with all of the royal gear. I thought maybe he should have to earn it first. But it works. He wears it like a true natural. I'm trying to be a bit more empathetic. Benefit of the doubt, you know? See that mountain? That's Mount Lanayru. It takes its name from the goddess of wisdom. Lanayru's decree is very specific. It says no one is allowed under the age of 17. For only the wise are permitted a place upon the mountain. I've prayed at the spring of courage and at the spring of power, yet neither awoke anything inside me. But maybe up there. Perhaps the spring of wisdom, the final of the three, will be the one. To be honest, I have no real reason to think that will be the case. But there's always the chance that the next moment will change everything. Tomorrow is my 17th birthday. So then I shall go and make my way up the mountain.
So that kind of just delved deeper into how Zelda is distraught about the fact that her powers hadn't awakened after doing everything she thought would help, you know, and the fact that her family was like, oh, it's fine, it'll awaken eventually, but I guess she kind of felt like they lied to her in a sense because nothing was working. And before I actually continue on, because I can get one more memory, it's only been 13 minutes, and I'm going to cut out a majority of that because, you know, loading screens.
Baby!
I'm really glad I saved these two for the end, unintentionally. I'll say that right now, unintentionally, I saved those two for the end. Because, in the sense of story progression, it really is... I don't want to say, I guess it makes sense, is what I'm trying to say. Because Zelda, in those cutscenes, is much more likable than in a few of the others, I will say that. And, it's not because, you know, she's just warmed up to Link. And I think that's a much better dynamic than her being like, Link, you suck ween. And I just enjoyed it a lot more. Not sure if I'm the only one. Not sure if people like the other Zelda more, but I think that when she finally warms up to Link, it's a lot more dynamic, and I enjoyed it a lot more. That's just me, though. Anyway, the last memory, well, not last, but the last memory other than the one in Hyrule Castle, which we'll be taking care of next time. Let's go to that. I'll be honest, this last memory I don't necessarily remember all that well. Or this next, not last. I shouldn't say that. I keep saying that. Not true. This next memory I don't necessarily remember all that well. I'm not even quite sure what it is. Now I've actually figured out how to kind of edit your horse. Usually, I think at a certain stable, actually, there will be someone here. If you talk to them all on your horse, you can actually edit how your horse looks, but you gotta be very affectionate with it. And I think that's fine. I usually pat my horses through them. It's really not all that hard. All you have to do is press the L button when you feel it's necessary. I usually just spam it because there's no real downside to that. And besides, look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. I take care of my horses. So if I ever do come across her, which I most likely will, for very obvious reasons, because I actually only found out about her during DLC Pack 2, and I plan on tackling a majority of DLC Pack 2. So, the fact of the matter is, I'll run into her eventually, and then I'll show it off. I'm not necessarily sure if Epona can be edited. I assume not, because you can't change her name. So I'm going to assume that she's too special. You can't change her. But, it's a nice thought at least. And I think that for the people, I think an entire team worked on the animals, the AI of the animals. And while I'm not a big fanatic about the animals in this game, like, they're there. They're alright. They fly away when you get close to them. You can smack them and get food. That's about it. That's honestly... You know what? You know what? Oh. Hold on. Hold on. I didn't know that this existed. I'll be back. I'll be back for you. I think that's actually a special shrine, which I really do want to tackle before the game is out. Before the game's done. The game's out? What does that even mean? Oh, that was me being dumb. Anyway, the last memory, one of the last memories, oh my god, should be right here-ish. Not exactly here, but around here. Yeah, it's right here.
Wavy!
So with this, let's reclaim the last memory that's not inside Hyrule Castle.
How did it come to this? The divine beasts, the guardians, they've all turned against us. It was Calamity Ganon. It turned them all against us. And everyone, Mipha, Urbosa, Rivali and Daruk, are all trapped inside those things. It's all my fault. Our only hope for defeating Ganon is lost, all because I couldn't harness this cursed power. Everything I've done up until now, it was all for nothing. So I really am just a failure. All my friends, the entire kingdom, my father most of all. I tried and I failed them all. I left them all to die.
That's a very emotional scene right there. But I'm gonna break it by saying, Zelda's voice actor, great for just talking. Not necessarily the best for dramatic cutscenes. Oh, and hey, we look at that. Now, I actually haven't talked about this since it happened so recently, but after you beat the Yiga clan, oh, is there anything I can eat? Hold on, I don't want to die here. I'd rather not, honestly. Well, I can't cook anything right now, but the thing is, members of the Yiga clan will actually come after you. They won't just like hide as people anymore. They will actually physically pop out of everywhere and just attack you, no warning. Kind of forgot this happened, but hey, it's fine. Doesn't matter, right? These guys are quite bulky. This is the first time I've actually faced one, and I believe that there's a chance that he won't actually drop his weapon, which kinda sucks just the slightest bit, because I'm a pretty big fan of his weapon. I think it's pretty cool. I don't necessarily remember exactly what it does, but I remember it being kinda cool. So I want to show it off if I possibly could kill him and actually get it while I'm destroying my weapons left and right. Should I? No, I'm not gonna do it. I was thinking about beating him with a torch, but you know, probably not the smartest idea. I don't even know what that does. I really don't even know what that does. Oh, I used Mufus Grace. It's not a big deal. These guys just really hit hard. Not very difficult. Anyway, this is the Wind Cleaver. Apparently they do drop it all the time, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the exact drop of that, but I think it's 100% that you're gonna get it. Maybe. Then again, I've fought a lot of these guys and I haven't necessarily gotten it. Now, if I remember correctly, that's not what I meant to do. If you do throw it, apparently, though, I didn't know this, but it kind of stays in the air a bit, and then it, like, falls down, so that's cool, I guess. But it actually does shoot beams, kind of like the Master Sword, but not really, you know? And I'm not necessarily sure how effective they are. I know the Master Sword's beams aren't really that effective at all, but, I think it's cool. Anyway, with that being said and done, with all that's remaining for me to do before the end of this game, in Hyrule Castle, actually, well, not all of it, but a majority of it, I'm actually going to end off this episode, and in the next episode, I'll venture into Hyrule Castle, get that last memory, and take a bit of a detour. Check it out, check out the place, because I'm not necessarily going to be going through the castle when I actually go to the final boss. This is 100%, or the final episode is 100% going to be me facing the final boss. That's going to be it. So the exploring will be done in the next episode. I hope you don't mind that. But that's just the plan that I have. So with this being said and done, see you next time.